I'd like to introduce John Gorman, our President and CEO of CanSIA. John joined CanSIA in 2012 and has brought a tremendous level of energy and focus to the organization, much to our benefit. Prior to joining CanSIA, John was active in the solar industry as a developer and been on the board of Ottawa Hydro and invested in his own microfit system, so he has put some money into the game specifically. I've had the opportunity to work with John from the day that he started, and it's been a great experience and a great pleasure for me. So with that, John will speak to the transformation.
Thank you, Bob, for that kind introduction. And thank you for your leadership through this year of real transformation for CanSIA and the solar industry. It's much appreciated. Thank you, Bob. Good morning and welcome to Solar Canada 2015. We're back, and what a difference a year makes. Alberta phasing out coal and promising to convert 2/3 of it to renewables. Saskatchewan moving to 50% renewables. New Brunswick introducing a small-scale renewable energy program, and a new government in Ottawa. A federal government that recognizes provinces and the green tech sector as essential partners in the strengthening of the Canadian economy. Solar market opportunities are literally spreading from the center of Canada to the east and west ends of this country. And we are gathered here today for our industry's annual national conference. And for the first time, we have truly national matters to discuss. I think we should all feel pretty good about that. I certainly do. It's a relief. I was getting a little stretched with the Ontario soft shoe bit. Look, we got a great lineup in store for you, but first I want to thank our sponsors. I'd like to thank our diamond sponsor, SunEdison. Greg, Michelle, yes, you, Utilia, thank you for your ongoing and consistent support. And if we could have a round of applause for our gold and silver sponsors, please. Canadian Solar, Ken, Randy, Suzanne, thank you. Gowlings, Tom Timmins, we'll be hearing from him later. Thank you, Tom. Panasonic, I'm sure Walter and Sylvia are somewhere in the audience here. EDFN, John Kieran, I know you made the decision. I'm sure that Corey Basil would still approve. Rez, Bart, thank you very much, and Carmana, Rob Milliken, thank you all for your support. We couldn't do this without you. We've got many other sponsors and partners who we are going to be hearing from throughout the conference. They'll be profiled. Thank you for your support. I want to thank the CanSIA team, and a special shout out to Patrick Bateman, who pulled together our conference programming. I want to thank our partner, Hanover Fairs, who is helping us rebuild the conference and trade show into an expanded footprint across the nation, and a special mention to Jessica Ward, of course, who has pulled together the trade show for us. So, thank you, Patrick and Jessica. And I want to thank our board of directors for their leadership through this year of transformation for CanSIA and the solar industry. And lastly, I want to thank all of you for attending. Your attendance exceeds last year's mark. Thank you for your support. Thank you for giving us this opportunity to have meaningful dialogue and share valuable perspectives. Now, electricity systems around the world are going through a profound transformation. A transformation that is being driven by climate policy and fueled by consumer expectation. Have you felt this shift in global power? It has reached a tipping point. I believe that in the next decade, this next decade, will make the last 10 years seem like a period of relative calm. Mere industry skirmishes by upstart technologies like solar energy, testing the perimeter of entrenched command and control systems of electricity generation and distribution that have dominated the field of electricity for more than a century. A system that has rewarded the biggest possible plants powered by the cheapest available fuel, forcing as many electrons as possible down thinner and thinner wires until they flood the homes and businesses of captive consumers. Challenges to this centralized system have until recently been staged on the field of conventional decision-making in the electricity sector. The rules of engagement have been determined exclusively around the price of an electron and the cost to deliver it. In this construct, the incumbents have an almost insurmountable advantage. A fortress of centralized plants surrounded by miles of wire, incented solely on the basis of each electron they manufacture and deliver. Challenging the established system on those terms has been a war of attrition. But we are seeing a shift in the balance of power that spans across diverse regulated sectors. A global, coordinated push is placing environmental policy on equal footing with economic and industrial policy. Climate policy is driving planning in a host of areas: natural resource management, transportation, building and land use planning, and of course, electricity planning. The electrification of traditionally fossil fuel-based sectors is now recognized as being essential to keeping global warming to 2 degrees Celsius. So electrification, climate policy, pushing electrification as a climate policy tool. Under this new regime, the value of an electron is no longer simply equated to the cost of producing it. A green electron is more valuable than a black electron. A smart distributed grid is preferable to a centralized one, and a progressive LDC is more desirable than a conventional one. Under this new electricity hierarchy, consumers are no longer content to be captive customers. They are motivated to be participants. They demand to be empowered and manage their energy needs in a responsible way that saves money while helping the environment. And an increasing number of them want to generate and store their own electricity as well as manage their electricity costs. In short, we've reached a tipping point on the global stage. Climate change is the new imperative. Climate policy is driving the transformation across the board, and electricity policy is viewed to be an enabler of this transformation. Some jurisdictions in Canada, our nation founded on a natural resource economy, have resisted this global climate imperative. But they are falling in line now. One only need to look to Alberta's recent climate leadership plan or the now public mandate letters of the federal ministers to observe this trend. This development is providing significant opportunities for renewable energy, including solar PV and solar heating and cooling. Just look at the recent headlines. Skies clear for Alberta's solar energy industry. Saskatchewan energy to be 50% renewable by 2030. NB Power looks to small-scale renewable energy. Justin Trudeau's environment plan: end fossil fuel subsidies, invest in clean tech. What a difference a year makes. Energy policy falls under provincial jurisdiction, and in each of these regional markets, each of them is quite distinct. They present unique opportunities for solar energy that require tailored approaches. That being said, there are a certain number of common dynamics at play in all of those markets. Our industry must understand those dynamics in order to serve the markets and increase the penetration of solar energy over this short and medium term. So, first, and I've already spoken to this, electricity sector decision-making across the country is now being heavily influenced by climate policy. As an industry, we must become expert on the interplay between climate policy and electricity planning. How does carbon pricing impact the electricity market? What opportunities are emerging for solar in the built environment or the industrial and transportation sectors as the result of climate policy objectives? How should policymakers account for the value of solar in this new paradigm? To increase the penetration of solar energy in provinces across this country, it is no longer good enough for us to compete in the electricity planning realm alone. We must be, and we must be seen to be an active participant in climate policy deliberations. And we're endeavoring to do that. Second, Canada is in an electricity surplus position. None of the emerging market opportunities we've discussed stem from the need for net new electricity. Renewables in Alberta and Saskatchewan are tied to the phase out of coal. Renewables in New Brunswick's small-scale renewable energy program is about empowering people and communities. The future of renewables in Ontario is linked to filling gaps around nuclear refurbishment and the opportunity to enable customers to save money in a net metering future. None of these opportunities have to do with net new demand. So to increase the penetration of solar in provinces across this country, we must leverage solar's diverse strengths, its ability to fill gaps, to be deployed quickly in the right increments close to load, its ability to empower people and communities such as First Nations communities. Lastly, solar energy is not a silver bullet. It's not a silver bullet for any of these jurisdictions. Our future hinges on the interplay between gas, nuclear, wind, hydro, and storage. Our success depends on our willingness to collaborate on an all-of-the-above approach to system planning. To increase the penetration of solar energy in provinces across the country, we must collaborate with other stakeholders. Collaborate, collaborate, collaborate. To summarize, our growth as an industry over the short and medium term hinges on our ability to be an effective participant in climate policy as well as electricity planning. It rests on our perceived value as the technology that can fill gaps quickly while empowering people. And it depends on our willingness to collaborate with other technologies while ensuring a prominent role for solar. These immediate opportunities are real, they are significant, and they are welcome, especially in this context of our highly capable industry that is largely confined within the boundaries of Ontario. But where does the long-term future of the industry lie? What is the big play for solar energy in the Canadian market? The long-term prospects for solar energy lie in the electrification of things. The bigger play for renewables across Canada rests in our nation's potential to be a world leader in the development of an emissions-free electricity grid, one that can replace fossil fuels as the energy source for our homes, for our businesses, our transportation, our commercial and industrial sectors. Canada is a vast territory with a harsh climate and a resource and manufacturing-driven economy. However, we are also endowed with an abundance of hydro, wind, solar, geothermal, and marine resources. Canada already has the greenest electricity system of the G7 nations. 65% of our electricity comes from renewable sources. Another 15% comes from non-emitting sources like nuclear power generation. The incremental efforts that are underway in provinces like Alberta and Saskatchewan will further decarbonize our national grid. And this puts Canada within reach of an emissions-free electricity system. Imagine our nation as a world leader in using green energy to transform every part of our economy, and in the process not only meet our GHG emission targets, but become a powerhouse in the vast economic opportunities associated with the global shift towards a decarbonized future. The electrification of Canada, powered by an emissions-free grid, will require a greatly expanded generation portfolio that would benefit enormously from solar energy. It's an economic opportunity. It plays off of Canada's strengths, and it's the right thing to do. And it's why I will be asking the board this January for a mandate for CanSIA to play a leadership role in a multi-stakeholder push to electrify Canada. There's a lot of work to do. The board and the team at CanSIA have been working hard over these last 12 months to transform the organization into an industry association capable of tackling these priorities, to become the organization that you will engage with, to be the industry voice that you want speaking on your behalf. We trust that you've noticed some of these changes already. The increased focus, an expanded, capable, and highly committed team, an improved membership offering, networks and forums, and strategic projects that are addressing the priorities I spoke to earlier, and looking to our future. I would say for the first time, instead of putting out fires and being reactive, looking to where the puck is going to be over the coming years. As you will see at our annual general meeting, which I know this year all of you will attend, we are now on firm financial footing, and we are investing in IT infrastructure needed to communicate with our stakeholders and to serve you better. We are transforming your industry association to meet the challenges, the opportunities presented by this dynamic policy and marketplace. We aim to be a truly national association for a truly national energy market. Now, I think this sort of transformation merits a new look, don't you? A face for CanSIA that is bright and fresh, a look and feel commensurate with our ambitions, something that reflects our disruptive technology and the dynamic industry we represent. And so it is with great pleasure that I unveil today the new logo for our national association. Come on! Look, I'm assured that we could have an entire workshop talking about the fundamental concepts behind the logo, but it just looks and feels right, doesn't it? Over the coming weeks and months, we'll transform the look of CanSIA to reflect the positive changes that we're making within the organization. Now, at the end of the day, an association voice is only as powerful as the collective it represents. I've said this many, many times, and I'm going to say it again today. CanSIA is a reflection of you. If you are not a member of CanSIA, take a hard look in that mirror and join. If you are a member and you are not supporting one of our strategic projects, join one. If you are a member and you are participating in all 3 strategic projects, then thank you. You're off the hook. You're off the hook. In conclusion, let me say this. These are exciting and promising times for Canada's solar industry, both for solar PV and for solar heating and cooling. From the ashes of Ontario's coal-fired electricity generation has risen an experienced, sophisticated, and competitive solar industry that is ready to expand beyond our provincial boundaries. A competitive industry that will empower Canadians while decarbonizing and strengthening our electricity grid. To achieve this will take all of our learnings. It will require an ability to look at avenues beyond traditional electricity planning. It will mean pushing the boundaries of solar energy as a versatile, scalable technology. It will necessitate close collaboration with other technologies. And above all, it will take commitment and hard work to transform ourselves into a truly national industry that is serving all Canadians. So please take these 2 days to learn about the challenges and opportunities that have presented themselves to us as we make this transformation. Thank you very much.